Okay, so good afternoon. My name is Adiatma Mustafa Diana Kurniawan with student ID 2550708010144. And I'm an international undergraduate program. I'm from international undergraduate program from Faculty of Medicine from Universitas Brawijaya. And today I will given the explanation of the key point from the cadaver topic in Islam perspective. So let me start with a sample. Let me start this video with a simple question: that if you're a medical student and you had to study using a real body, how would you feel? For most people, the first reaction is discomfort or maybe even fear. Like, for example, a couple of my friends are they are afraid of the studying anatomy using cadaver, because that most of them are not, because all of us are not used to seeing that closely. But for a medical student, this is something that quite normal, or yeah, this is something that normal, that cadaver are part of our learning process, that the cadaver are helping a lot of medical students such us understand the human body in a way that the book simply can't. So by studying anatomy using the cadaver, it also helped me to memorize anatomy from diagram, sure that we're seeing the real structure, touching it, and also understanding the relationship between the one organs and another organs, and that is completely a different level of understanding. So now is where the ethical question comes in. So from an Islamic perspective, that is it acceptable to use human body after death or for this purpose? Because in Islam, as we all know, that human body is not just a biological matter, it also carries dignity, honor, and value. So let's explore the idea that I already said it before, a bit deeper for a better understanding. So in Islam, humans are described as honor creation. That this honor is not just temporary, but it doesn't disappear right after death. And that's why we have very detailed funeral rituals that, as you all know, that in Islam we have a quite not a strict but quite detail of the funeral rituals. Like for the first one, we got the body have to be washed carefully, and the second one, the body must be wrapped respectfully, and the third one, the body we could pray for the body like we do the salat jenazah, and the last one, we have to bury the body with dignity. And even the way we handle the body is also important. And then there come the powerful hadith that the Prophet said that breaking the bone of a dead person is like breaking it while they are alive. So it tells us something very deep, that these hadiths tell us that death does not remove human dignity. And then so naturally, from this perspective, cutting open the body, dissecting it, sounds like something that should not be allowed in Islam. And that's why the basic rule in Islam is harming dead body is prohibited. But here's where Islamic law becomes really interesting, because Islam is not only about rules, but it is also about purpose, wisdom, and outcomes. There's this principle in Islam called maslahah, or greater benefit, which means that sometimes an action that is normally not allowed can become allowed if it leads to something that are much more important. So let's slow down here and really think about this principle, because I think this is the key to understanding about this whole issue of the usage of cadaver in medical field. Okay, so in Islam, we prioritizing certain things above the others. And one of the highest priorities in Islam is to preserving human life. As we can see this in many examples, that for instance, if a pregnant woman dies, but the baby is still alive, Islam allows doctor to perform surgery to save the body. So they simply just pulling off the baby out of the mother's dead body. And even though this involves cutting the mother's body, which is normally prohibited, it becomes allowed because a life of the baby can be saved. And also another example of this extreme starvation is that if someone is in a situation where they will die without food, or in a place that there is scarcity, like there's nothing left that can be eat for human. So Islam allows the human to eat even prohibited things, such as in extreme cases like the human flesh. Again, this is not normal, but it shows how important survival is in Islamic law. So let's break down a little bit now. Okay, so now let's connect this principle to medical education. Why do medical school use cadaver? Because they produce a better doctor. And what is mean by becoming a better doctor means? So by becoming a better doctor means that one, you should conduct or do a safer surgery, and two, you gotta do fewer medical error, and the last one, to become better patient outcomes, and ultimately to save more life. And let's imagine a world without cadaver training. So the doctor will rely only on textbook, videos, and also simulation, and which I think wouldn't be enough for a doctor to only rely on these three textbook, videos, and simulation as they main sources of learning. Because medicine is not just a theory, but it's also require a hand-on skill, and that skill is require real experience. And so from this perspective, many scholars say that using cadaver is not just acceptable, but it is actually necessary for the benefit of the society. It doesn't stop there. Cadaver are also used in autopsy, which is used to determine cause of death, especially in suspicious case. And the second one, for forensic science, which means to solve crimes and also bring justice. And the last one, medical research, which we use to understand disease and also to prevent future outbreak. And for example, studying organs affected by certain disease can help doctors develop better treatment. So again, the benefit is not small because it affects individuals, communities, and even future generation. And because of this, many contemporary scholars conclude that the benefit of using cadaver outweigh the harm. But, and this is very important, that this does not mean that there are no limits, because Islam always puts boundaries. First, the consent. So the person must have agreed before death, or the family must give a permission to ensure that the body is not used unjustly. And the second one is the necessity only. So we only do what is needed. So there are no unnecessary dissection and also no unnecessary procedure on the cadaver. And the third one is to respect. And honestly, this is something we really need to emphasize today, that we live in a social media era where sometimes people forget about professionalism, and there have been cases where cadaver are used only for jokes. And the second one, there's a lot of cases where the cadaver also a lot of people take a photo on the cadaver, and also sometimes there's a lot of people turn the cadaver into a content, and which is three of these are completely against the Islamic ethics, because this is not just a body but it is also a human being. And after everything is done, the body must be buried properly. So even after being used for learning, its dignity is restored. And now, even with all this justification, not all scholars agree, because some scholars take a strict position that they say that no matter the benefit, we should never violate the dignity of the dead. For example, Ibnu Abbas once said that argued that autopsy that are not allowed for Muslim because in his perspective, the sanctity of the human body should never be compromised. And honestly, this disagreement is important because it shows us that this is not a simple issue. It's a matter of ethics, religion, science, and the last one are human value. And how do we understand all of this? Because I think the best way is to see it as a balance, where on one side we have to respect for the dead, and on the other side we have the need to save life. And Islam tries to balance both. And not everything is allowed, but not everything is forbidden either. If there is no strong reason, then the body must be left untouched. But if there is a clear and significant benefit, especially saving life, then it becomes permissible with strict condition. And personally, I think this reflects something very powerful about Islam. It shows that in our religion, which is Islam, that Islam is not rigid, not careless, and also balanced and thoughtful. It respects the past dead but also consider the future. It honors the dead but also protects the living. And I think that what makes this topic so meaningful, because it's not just about cadaver, but it's also about how we as a human balance respect, knowledge, and responsibility. I think that's it from the key points of this topic, and I think it's enough for it. And thank you for the opportunity, and goodbye.